Welcome to the Everything Actioncast, the official podcast of everythingaction.com.
Hello and welcome to the Everything Actioncast, the podcast for the week of March 25th, 2024. I'm your host, Zach.
I'm your co-host, Chris.
And this week we are headed to the Florida Keys because we're talking about last week's big Prime video release, the new Roadhouse, which Chris, you and I both saw. Actually taking a break from PAX East that we were at last week, we decided to take it easy after the convention and watch the new Roadhouse.
And a nice break from convention attending and video game playing, and
just watch Jake Gyllenhaal beat a bunch of guys up.
Yeah, humbly beat a bunch of guys up.
And obviously, last week we, if you saw, we had our commentary on the original Roadhouse. So you could have watched the original Roadhouse with Chris and special guests Justin and Adam. I was unfortunately sick, so I wasn't able to rewatch the original Roadhouse with those guys. But that is something to say if you want to listen to that. But yeah, the new one, very few similarities, lots of differences. It's pretty much kind of just like I think they're saying it's a reimagining, which it definitely is. It's definitely not a remake. It's because there's like almost no plot elements or characters or anything like that carries over from the original, except for like the main character's named Dalton and he works at a bar.
And I think maybe one or two characters have the same names as other people.
Yeah, but like drastically different like versions of those characters.
Yes.
And I guess also like the similar. There's an evil like businessman trying to like take over the bar or like drive the bar out of business for land reasons or like business reasons.
It got convoluted, and even for what happened, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I think we talked about, like, we even pointed out that it didn't need to do that, and it just had it, instead of being like grittier, it just got more like complex. Like it didn't get dark and gritty, it just got weirdly more involved of schemes.
Well, it's definitely trying to be more serious than the original one, because the original one is like a cartoon.
Well, then you also get like a cartoon feel to this one, because
I feel like halfway through, like like a cartoon character appears and starts like rampaging through the movie. But
yeah, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's definitely one of the my main issues. I would say is like the plot is like way too, like they're trying to make it like, quote unquote modern, but they lose like the beautiful simplicity of the original, where it's just like this guy wants to take over the bar, or like he wants to drive this bar out of business, so he sends goons after them. And this one's got like corrupt cops and
cartel
members, and like there's like a weird, like they almost treat it like a mystery for like the first half, which is kind of weird. Where like Jake Gyllenhaal is like, like trying to like why do they want the bar? What's so special about the bar? Like he's like
somehow
googling.
He's sort of got like a Jack Reacher sort of detective thing going on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No idea on that plot. It's so not needed, because I think even Jake Gyllenhaal, like even Dalton, sort of gives up on it.
Well, he thinks of one thing. He's like, oh, are they smuggling drugs to this bar? No, there's coral reef around the bar. All right, I don't know. And I think like eventually like Frankie, the owner of the bar, is like, oh yeah, they're like building a resort. They want to take over the land.
But here's the insane thing. I thought that was sort of in the plot line or trailer. Like I thought that was something we almost knew already.
I mean, they definitely showed like Billy Magnussen instead of Conor McGregor in the trailer. So it's like, and then it's like, oh, they're trying to like drive us out of business or something.
I feel like even in the original Roadhouse, we didn't care about the why. Like we didn't care about the why the guy's doing this.
Yeah.
In original Roadhouse, the original evil businessman owned about like 80 or 90% of that town, and they were bringing like a J.C. Penney's to that town. Like it was something
like a shopping center or a mall or something.
Yeah, like a mall. And the deal was, I guess it wouldn't want to come if the Roadhouse was still there.
he needed he needed all the land, and he needed all the businesses driven out of business so that he could like they're gonna build them all on top of like everything in the town, like demolish like the double deuce, demolish like
The
the
gas
hardware
station.
store, yeah, like and then build like the mall on top of all of it.
But I feel like where they were in Texas, they could have gone anywhere. That was like a very open area,
Oh
and I feel
yeah,
like there was better opportunities because that town, the economy wasn't great. So like all the locals didn't do anything. All they do is get drunk at the Roadhouse, the Double Deuce. So they're just gonna get drunk and destroy that mall.
probably yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the people in that original just needed a place to fight in. And then in this one,
It's
it's
really
the same.
I'll say it's really unclear why everyone's just like fighting all the time at the Roadhouse, which is the name of the bar this time.
Well, okay, yeah. So in this one, they also need a place to fight in, right? That's sort of just the premise. Like everyone loves the bar because that's one of their favorite places to have a fight, like
Yeah.
a drunk fight.
Mm.
So a lot of these people aren't the best. Like they're not going to the bookstore because I feel like some of these people in this town aren't reading.
Is it even a
Uh,
town? It's like a strip off of like a main highway. It's just like
right.
there's like it's like a gas station, or like a convenience store, a bookstore, the Double Deuce restaurant, which is like the nod to like the original, and then the Roadhouse, and then that's it. That's the only thing that is in this town.
Okay, but you see, the evil business person, the businessman idea was that they wanted an uncompromised view from this resort that's going to be at least 3 miles away from the beachfront. That is also like a coral reef barrier, so it's not exactly like a beach you can dive in or anything.
Well, there's a weird thing where he had like so Billy Madison has like his like evil businessman like model of like the island, which I think we talked about with Darkman. Like every evil businessman has like if they have like a glass or like a white model like buildings, they're evil.
Yeah, they use an evil architecture firm.
But it's weird because like he's got his resort and it looks like it's like pretty far away from the road. It is like a little like model of the Roadhouse, and they're like so far away from each other.
Right. It's not like he's getting beachfront hotel property because
Yeah.
they kind of made a point saying where they were, it was terrible beaches.
He could build his like resort and then like have like his own bar and like that drive the Roadhouse of business that way because it's like, oh, this is like the high upper end like safe bar. You don't want to go to the shady Roadhouse. Like, come to my bar.
That's what I'm saying. All he had to do was just build a better business.
Hmm.
He didn't need to mess up that business because there's not a lot of like competition. So if you just happen to have cheaper liquor, okay, not okay. So the original Roadhouse, the idea was that the evil business person was also controlling the supply of liquor and then like goods being provided to that bar. Like apparently like there's only like 6 bartenders and
Yeah.
2 of them joined the evil guy.
Hmm.
So in this one, they had biker gangs, and then no one in this whole crew that they have is like a service person. So they were all thugs, no service. Like all the bad guy had to do was just provide a better business.
Yeah.
He already had a lot of capital. He just didn't want to do it. He wanted to instead throw more and more goons to the point where even like his jailed business father or just his like criminal father had to hire more goons for the job.
Hmm. Which speaking of like Billy Madison's father, like I feel like that was like a missed opportunity. That felt like Chekhov's like dad, where we were like it's like, oh, we're gonna they keep talking about this dad in jail, and like I was expecting to like see him at some point, or, like and have it be like some fun like cameo person, and
Yeah,
then you just never see him. Like like people are like, oh, I talked about the phone, but like you never hear like you don't even hear a voice of this dad. It's just like he's just in jail, and you never see or hear from him.
no, you hear from him.
Yeah, I guess like maybe like muffled on the phone, like it's like a little bit on the phone, but
No, you hear him,
yeah,
but we just don't see him. It just sounds like some dude with like a Jersey accent.
but yeah, that could have been such a like a bit like they could have got like I don't know, I can't think of who they could get for that, but like find some fun fun like maybe like an 80s action star or like someone someone like that you like throw in there, be like, oh
Charlie
man, it's
Sheen.
that guy, yeah.
You throw Charlie Sheen in, you tie it to Red Dawn. There you go. You kind of have this like, oh, it's an 80s nostalgic person. Instead of playing the hero, he's a heel now, and
Hmm.
it's it doesn't make sense because I don't know a lot of people who are around that would want to be in this Roadhouse movie. Like Sam Elliott, I think is the only one. Keith David, maybe. Like they just don't want to be part of this.
Yeah,
Like there are people from Roadhouse that the original that's still around, but yeah, I think they wanted to completely make a reimagining, so not just make a nod and a wink with a actor that was there. But they probably wanted to. Like if Swayze was around, they were probably gonna ask him to come back for like a scene, right?
yeah.
But completely going for this original direction or a reimagining, it worked up until a certain point for me. Did like the beginning starts strong, the crazy like
Well, it does like gets off on like a really weird dark note in the beginning,
yes, it starts
where
really dark and gritty, and we're like, okay, this is the
what
new
is
tone.
where so Jake Gyllenhaal is Elwood Dalton, and then I think it was like Patrick Swayze's character. His name was like, isn't Dalton his first name or is that his last name? Is he like John Dalton or something? I can't
I
remember.
think
Like,
his name is James or John Dalton.
yeah, but Elwood Dalton is Jake Gyllenhaal, who is a former UFC middleweight who is this got disgraced from the sport because you kind of find out gradually through like these like they keep flashing you back to this fight, which is kind of like a weird like mechanic of this movie too. Um, but eventually you find out that he like he killed a man in the ring because he wouldn't stop like hitting him, and so he was like blackballed, like bounced from the sport. He's like this like massive like disgrace of UFC. But he travels around basically like these like underground fights, and then shows up and everyone's just like, oh shit, we're not gonna fight him. He killed a guy. Like,
Yeah, it's a nice scam he's got.
mhm.
Unfortunately, the I don't
It
know, he just lives like a shitty life because it's shown that he basically is suicidal. He regrets what he did.
it's like he lives in his car basically. It seems like he
Yeah.
just drives around.
So I get why this version of Dalton, he sort of he needs purpose.
Well,
Uh
and the weird thing too is that Frankie, who owns like the Roadhouse, isn't even at this fight to like find Dalton. She's there to find like Post Malone.
yep. She will they've her business gimmick is to find tough guys, tough
Yeah,
bouncers. And
I think
it seemed like they kind of mentioned it during the movie.
they've gone through
They've
like a bunch
gone
of guys
through.
already. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And that's like she hasn't tried anything else besides find tough guys. Spend the money to drive around America to find tough guys.
yeah. Because Dalton he has to take a bus to get to the Florida Keys, so he's like not anywhere close to like the Roadhouse.
Well, one, he took a bus because his car got hit by a train.
Because he parks his car on the train tracks and is like, I'm gonna kill myself.
But on the last minute, he's just like, I
Decides
want to
not
live.
to. Yeah,
Instead, he basically causes like a multi-thousand-dollar train wreck
yeah.
that
Which I mean,
how did he not get charged with something like that?
mhm. And it sets a weird tone for his character. But then like after he gets the keys, like he's like seems pretty chill about everything. So he loses all that like dark. Like, he's still a little bit like his darkness about like his fight and stuff. But like he's not like constantly like suicidal or like taking pills or like drinking himself to death or something. He's just like it's just that one time, just like I'm gonna try to kill myself. All right, that didn't work. All right, I'm good. Like,
Well, because that was his bottom. I understand.
yeah,
I can kind of see that in a story term because it's a lot of show, don't tell. Which again, I appreciate. I don't mind it being darker. I don't like Roadhouse. The original Roadhouse is such a power trip fantasy that it wouldn't work in real life. You just can't do what Dalton did.
yeah.
So
Rip throats out. I'm sure someone
I'm
could
pretty,
probably do that. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure someone could do that. Uh, I'm talking about just the fantasy of being like recruited to like a bar and being so infamous as a bar like rescue
bouncer.
guy.
Yeah,
he's not just a bouncer in the original. Like
He's the cooler. He's the head bouncer.
but he also was like management and sort of like HR. It was a lot.
And he's done this like who knows how many times. Like Swayze Dalton did that like who knows how many times before he went to the Double Deuce. Like because he's like he has his whole routine with his car, and he has like everyone knows like he and Sam Elliott are talking about like previous jobs and stuff. So like
Yep.
they've both been doing like just travel around and like are like the most famous people in America because they're bouncers at these bars.
So in this version, they're going with the realistic thing where this guy was really good at fighting. He tries not to fight anymore because he murdered someone by accident. He he lives in a very regretful, humble life now because of that. Because I guess it's supposed to show that he was like an asshole in the past, but because he killed his friend by accident, he's trying to live a better life. But that part drags on for so long for them explaining that. I think it's like more than the halfway point. That's when they tell you about Dalton's like past.
Well, they keep teasing. They show like a little like tiny snippet of the fight. Like it's like they show like his walk into the ring, and then cut back to the movie. But then like a little bit later, it's like he's getting announced by like Bruce Buffer, and then they cut back to the movie. But then it finally takes like Billy Madison to show up, and be like, "Hey, I got here's this clip on YouTube of your fight. Remember that when you killed that guy?" Like,
yeah. So
it's just a weird like structure of like how they tease out this like fight, even though it's like you kind of like know what the hell happened already because it's like everyone's talking about like everyone keeps talking about it.
Yeah, well, they did say that it was such a brutal fight that they've been pulling the clip off of YouTube, but
Yeah,
like that. I mean, that was a televised fight.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see. I would love to know like the UFC response to that, or like the announcers just like because like it's like never happened.
Yeah, so far hasn't happened to that. Only maybe boxing matches, but UFC fight has so many regulations and like that he would have been banned and all these
arrested,
things.
Maybe, yeah.
I think arrested. Yeah, you don't like that guy was completely defenseless by that point, and no, did Dalton go to jail? We have no idea in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna try to focus on that because we're in the suspense that basically this happened like a year or two before the movie.
So yeah, sometime before the movie, yeah.
So then, yeah, Dalton just sort of like I said, he just sort of washes that over in that town. He allows himself to, I don't know, still live like a hobo lifestyle in Florida Keys, but trying to find new purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie kind of mentions it when he gets off the bus, where he meets like the teen girl, the bookstore girl.
Yeah, Charlie.
Where Charlie says, "Oh, you look, it's like a Western." Like it starts to get meta, where it's like that's the point of Roadhouse, that it's sort of a cowboy comes into town, cleans up the place, like takes out the bad guy.
Yeah, and then rides off in the sunset.
Right. And at least in the original, he doesn't, but in this one, it already foreshadows like the whole movie. And I think it was like, oh, have you never seen Roadhouse? Well, that's the plot of Roadhouse. And then, if you don't understand this whole movie, we're gonna tell you what it's about. Like it just there's no subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this movie would have done better with it. At least the original one, I feel like they had fun with it. This one seems like they were trying to make like an art piece for some points, or they didn't know the tone because it switches from comedy to drama so quickly.
Yeah, the tone is all over the place. Like it's like it should have been either like because they're trying to make it like more serious and gritty than the original one, but then also there's characters that are like cartoon characters later on.
And well, not only cartoon characters, but like comic reliefs. Like every third character was a comic relief.
So it's like either like make it like all the way to one end where it's like a crazy cartoon comedy, or go full gritty, have it be serious. Like it's like those like they're like it's kind of constantly clashing with itself. Of like, is this supposed to be like, are we supposed to take it seriously, or is it like just a ridiculous goof? Like,
yes,
because the original one, like the original one knows what its tone is and just rides that and like just is fully embraces it. With like every character is like every character is like a wacky character, and all the wacky scenarios that happen. like it knows exactly what it is. This one's is very confused about like, are we trying to make like a serious modern crime thriller, or is it a like goofy like throwback like comedy action movie?
At the beginning, it seemed like it's gonna be that gritty, dark, serious tone.
Yeah.
Then once they get to Florida, it becomes a comedy. As soon as I think, I can pinpoint it exactly. I think it was right when he gets his coffee.
Hmm.
I think when Dalton orders a coffee and the bartender is like, "Oh, that's not like a coffee. That's a Cabano like coffee," and
Hmm.
he's just like, "Okay." And yeah, then it just keeps on going of it just being this wacky up and down motion. I think when the first time the bikers come in and try to thrash the bar, and we see Dalton's bouncing style, his cooling style.
Which is don't do anything, just sit there basically.
Yeah,
Like he does a lot of like he trains like the other like some of the other guys in the bar to like do the bouncing for him, and he just sits in and he just sits at the bar and just he's like, good job guys. Like, and then if it's someone it's like that they can't handle that, he'll step in and like take that guy out. But like he basically lets these other guys like just do most of the hard work for him, and then he gets paid like $5,000 a week for whatever his pay is.
to just point at
Yeah.
things and then the rest. Yeah,
Or just like nod Riley at things like, hey, that guy over there, you better go check him out. He's got a knife or something, maybe.
so I think the main hero of the movie should have been the guy he like Dalton trains.
Yeah.
I feel like there's another plot where Dalton could have been that guy, and it could have been sort of like an origin story, like a reimagining, where this guy that was a waiter then became the bouncer because there was a need. He learns from a guy basically how Wade taught Dalton how to be a cooler. Wade being Sam Elliott's character from
Yeah.
Re-Original.
Which there's no like mentor or anything. We don't like just Dalton in the new one doesn't have any sort of like mentor or like doesn't need to call reinforcements in. He's just like, I'm it's just me. Like I'm the guy.
Yeah, and the insane thing is, I think we needed that because Dalton is a mystery, and he's supposed to be like a lot of it is talked about his lore, how the town reacts to him, and you understand that he knows a lot, so it feels like he didn't need backup, right? But he
Mhm.
does. It's great. In this one, completely different because it seemed like he just came back from a bare knuckles fight from wherever he was, then came to the roadhouse, then just sort of got into bouncing, and then how where the movie goes next is like a completely different movie. It's as if we saw like a sequel to this or something.
Well, because like he's never. It doesn't seem like he's ever been like a bouncer before. But then he has like he instantly has all this like ability of like that guy's got a knife. That guy's gonna fight. Like watch that guy.
Yeah,
Like he has all of his. He's all the awareness. And then
bouncer sense.
yeah,
No idea.
and then later it's like it gets even crazier because it's like, oh, he has like commando skills. Like he has like
He knows how
combat
to fire
skills.
a gun. He
Yeah.
knows how to be accurate without aiming a gun. Like not even just firing a gun. Like I get anyone could just pull a trigger, but the way he's shooting a gun is someone that's shot a gun a lot more, and that like I get he's really fit, but being fit doesn't mean you know how to
No.
handle a gun.
And they never say like, oh, before he was UFC he was like a Marine or something. It's like, no, he was literally just a UFC guy, and then he
Or I mean, the laziest thing they could say for that is, "Oh, I grew up in the street," and sometimes like I've
yeah,
seen that in movies,
something, yeah.
something, or it's like, "Oh, why do you know that?" Well, my dad was a military guy, or like, "Oh, some relative or my mentor taught me some skills," something like that. Just give me that. You just can't come. You can't come from hobo guy that lives in a car to MacGyver.
Well, it's also crazy too because like at a certain point he's just like, oh man, you guys maybe turn the switch on, like, and now I'm in killing mode. Like,
But turning the switch on when he fights makes sense because he's a fighter, but not the way the movie was showing for the other aspects. Like, did he? Because I feel like he doesn't own a smartphone.
no.
So how does he know how to build a bomb?
then he goes from like his first fight with like the bikers. He's like literally like slapping them in the face, and then later on, like halfway through like the last act of the movie, he's like because like he's just like stealthing into like their compound, just like snapping everyone's necks and like drowning guys in like pools and like killing everybody. It's like, wow, that was a hard turn that you took, Dalton. Like you're going from like slapping guys and like driving them to the hospital afterwards to like just straight up just murdering them.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the beginning where he's slapping guys around because Dalton's goal wasn't to murder anyone until
Yeah.
basically you pushed him over the edge, and at that point, it's just like free game. And still, the odds were against him. Like, I don't think he fires a gun at all in the original Roadhouse.
No.
It's a lot of knives, and throat ripping, but no actual use a gun.
He's like Patrick Swayze is like knocking guns out of guys' hands, but he's never like using them. Or he's even like kicking like shotguns out of people's hands.
Granted, Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't actually use a gun against like a living person,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a degree of, oh, is Jake Gyllenhaal like, is this Dalton guy like a psycho?
Well, yeah, because he has like one of his things is like, I killed this guy, but then I'm gonna kidnap this corrupt cop and like use his gun and make it look like the corrupt cop killed this guy. It's like this very like very methodical, like, you've thought about this before, Jake Gyllenhaal. Like you've had this plan. This is something you just like come up on the fly. Like this like something you've been thinking about for like, if I ever had to kill a guy, I would like, steal a cop's gun and make it look like the cop did it or something. Like,
Not only that, he knew how much ice to have to keep a
yep.
corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's something where the movie does not explain that. That just happens to the point where it's like, did we just watch another movie? Did this become fucking Nightcrawler? I don't mind it. It's so silly of a plot point, but it's so distracting to me.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Well, because it was such a like there's no indication that he has any like he's gonna like start like just become like a murder, like a killing machine, or like start like just like straight up like killing guys, and then it's just like he's just like, oh, you guys, like, you pushed me too far. Now I gotta unleash my skills that I have. It's like, wait,
Some lean
you're fighting
mastermind
UFC skills, like.
Yeah, does USC schools teach you this when you go to the gyms? They'll just like.
Did you learn that like the Ultimate Fighter? Like.
Yeah, like, was that just like some off season that they just said, all right, guys, we'll tell you how to guard, we'll tell you how to block, like punch. Also, we're gonna teach you how to like fucking set up a complicated, I don't know, like
Revenge
crime
plot.
scheme,
Yeah.
revenge plot. Yeah, like just like what? How's this guy able to do this, but he still can't like find a reasonable place to live, or
Mhm.
I don't know, use some other skill. Like it's mind-boggling how smart he is, but then how dumb he is. So
You know,
do you want to get into the love interest plot, because that part is so much more complicated now.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely more complicated than the original one, where it's just like, oh, the town doctor, and then he's like, hey, thanks for stitching me up. You want to like go on a date? This one, it's like she's like you find out her father is like the sheriff and he's corrupt, and then like he worked for like the prison dad, and then she gets like taken hostage, and
But then she can't love him because it's dangerous if she loves him.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, it definitely is like trying to be too anti Roadhouse because of that. And instead of doing it tastefully, it's such a like complicated structure where we were confused what was her deal to be like so into him. Because they're going around like, okay,
She hates him initially because like it's like, oh, you're just an asshole who fights guys. But then, like, they have like one like kind of like meet cute, kind of like, he's like, oh, I like your hair, like, or like, because they have like that scene
the
where he's like,
yeah,
and he's like, oh, you're nice now, okay, I'll go out with you, like.
her hair wasn't that bad. It's like
Well,
the town stylist made
yeah,
fun of her,
yeah.
and then
There's like a weird plot where like the entire town hates her.
I think that's because her father's the sheriff.
Sheriff Big Dick,
So random.
played by Joaquin de Almeida, like one of the great character actors.
Like fresh survive from his encounter. Like he swam out of Fast and Furious 5.
Yeah, he straight out Fast and Furious, and Conor McGregor feels like he's straight out like a Fast and Furious movie too.
Yeah. My point was their relationship in this one. It was like so. How do I say this right? It was needlessly complicated for what the payoff would be. In the original one, I think like Dalton was afraid that she would be hurt, like the doctor would be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she at all, like, I think she just runs into the end, right? Like she sort of doesn't know what's going on in the end of Roadhouse until she just goes, "Oh shit, like you did a shitload of killing and but I still love you anyway." It's like the town will clean up this town murder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in this one, it's like, "Oh, I think this is way above me and you," right? It's like our love can't like last through all of this. Like like the town asshole is dead, and then the bar is broken, and you just have to go. Like, and this is like they don't even say anything at that point. It's just like, I'll leave. So, yeah, I don't. Again, definitely like a modern day meet cute thing going on, way more intensity. But I just kind of miss the original where they just drank until 6 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then she went to work, and then yeah, they just had a good time in town, and then it made him actually want to stay in town. But I feel like in this one, it's just like they could have gone together. They don't have to stay in the Florida Keys, especially now that he's sort of unwanted there.
Mm-hmm. Jake Gyllenhaal, he also only uses like one of the lines on like when in like the hospital scene where he's like getting his like stab wound from it wasn't was it the other, I think it was the other guy. It wasn't Post Malone.
It was some
It was the
other guy.
Yeah. Um, but like I think he only says like no. He only says like no one ever wins a fight. That's like it's like the only line that he uses for like the original Roadhouse. Because I don't think he ever says pain don't hurt or be nice.
He doesn't say any of that.
Yeah. Be
Yeah, I
nice.
think it,
Be nice until it's time to not be nice.
well, think about it. Everyone on that road, like everyone he trains is not is all like it's just there's a montage of them just getting better at bouncing,
Yeah.
but it's not like
It's also like it's so weird too. Like the road, like the original one, like Double Deuce, like you understand, like it's like they're like it's Jeff Healey band's playing the entire time. So they have a house band, and like it's like a blues rock kind of thing. So like you can kind of like see like how that would be rowdy. But then like the Roadhouse has like a bunch of like these like really like eclectic like acts, like they're like smooth jazz acts, and like it's like all these different like music acts. Like what you don't think would like rile people up, but they do apparently.
yeah, a church choir band, like a church band
Yeah, yeah.
comes and sings and has like a not even like a full set. They sing like one song and
Well,
people lose their goddamn mind.
Well, yeah, because people are getting upset because like this sucks, this music sucks, and they start fighting each other. Like and they're like, and then one guy's like, "Hey, it's cool, it's chill, shut up, dude." And it's like, "You shut up," and they start beating the shit out of each other.
So that's what I'm saying. I think people just needed a place to fight,
Yeah.
and this is also a place where they also want to fight without guns.
Oh yeah, everyone just pulls out knives. Everyone just has like giant knives they pull out.
I mean, same goes for the original, and then same goes for this. It's a very like rowdy town, but usually everyone walks away from a fight.
And also, but also, it doesn't seem like the Double Deuce feels like it's a rundown country bar. Like the Roadhouse kind of seems like it's like it would be like a nice like it has like a tiki like bar like it's really like open like floor plan like it seems like a way nicer.
It's a typical tropical beachfront like bar. There's tons of them anywhere near beach towns.
Yeah, it seems like just that like the base like the base level where like the double deuce starts, where the roadhouse starts. The roadhouse seems like it's like way above like the double deuce, but then
Yeah, it starts out higher than the Double Deuce. Double Deuce, if you remember the original design, it looked like a Western saloon.
yes,
It's very out of time. At least in this one, this place had a lot of lights, a lot of open concept space. Um, it seemed like it was cleaner, and then because you, oh my god, if you've seen the original, it looked like a war zone. Like it had
yep.
exposed
They
like brick walls, like you see drywall falling. There's like rude comments written on the wall. Like it's.
they sweep up the eyeballs every night.
I think when yeah they say that, and that's
Yeah.
like a thing. And plus, like in the beginning of the first movie, it's like a whole destruction of the bar. There's like the first bar fight that happens in the original Double Deuce. Like tables are smashed, chairs are broken, glass
Yep.
is thrown. Dalton doesn't do anything. He just sort of watches and goes, "Yeah, like okay, we got work to do."
Yeah.
But in this one, it wasn't even the local patrons that was a problem. It was really like a biker gang. And at that point, it was like, all right, this isn't normal drunks. Like this is legit biker gang showed up. And Dalton handles it pretty well. Like that's what I'm saying. It's very hopeful in the beginning of this movie. But do you want to get? I kind of want to get into the topic of why this movie is called Roadhouse.
Yeah. Outside the fact that the bar is literally called the Roadhouse.
Yep. So weird. I don't mind it being that. It just sort of explains it. Like as if you never watched the original, right? And then they said it for this, where it's like, oh, why is it called the Roadhouse? Well, it's like, well, it's a house by the road. It's called the Roadhouse. Okay.
It's a weird joke that I don't think it worked for either of us. Where it's
It
like
did not.
Frankie's father. So Frankie owns the
No,
Roadhouse.
Frankie's uncle.
Cool. It's some sort of weird sense of humor where like he like named things literally what they were. It's like the bar's called the Roadhouse. His houseboat's called the Boats.
Such a weird sense of humor, or like the uncle was autistic. It was like very like odd. Or he was 10. We have no idea. It's something a child would think as a fun thing, but not as a business solution that like financially they're in struggle. Maybe because you named the house on the road the Roadhouse. I mean, again, the Double Deuce was no better because I think the original movie of Roadhouse was called the Double Deuce, and then they're like, nah, let's just call it Roadhouse.
Yeah.
But I think Roadhouse is a type of bar where it's like you can be rowdy and stuff, and it's fine because the bartenders expect that. Usually by then, like mid America still has Roadhouse bars.
Mm-hmm.
They're rough looking. They're not as corrupt, I imagine. But it's still like end of the day, it's still a bar. I mean, you fucking have an all-out brawl, like it's people are gonna talk about that. Your Yelp review on your place is gonna go down.
Oh, like, that should have been this new one. Like this should have been like, oh, like our Yelp reviews are terrible or something, or like just like people like yelling about like, I'm gonna like give you a bad Yelp review as they like get kicked out of the bar or something like.
Yeah, it did have that modern like thing. They try to make an '80s movie where basically like
no one has cell phones.
No one has cell phones. No one knows you can go to the next town and report like a crime.
Yeah. Well, apparently all the cops are corrupt in this like community because they all work for Billy Magnussen or his father.
People leave the community. Like it's not like he owns the country. It's just the Florida Keys.
Yeah, just drive to like the next town in the Keys and like be like, hey, next town over, there's like drug like cops are like dealing drugs and like this guy's trying to take over the entire town.
Are we gonna do anything about that? Like, is there a mayor in this town?
And like no one's live streaming like goes back to the cell phone thing. Like you don't think people will be like live streaming like all these insane bar fights on like TikTok or like Instagram or something? You're like, oh, there's sick fights happening right now, World Star. Like
Yeah, I'm just thinking like maybe because I don't go to bars as much these days, but let alone when we used to go when we were younger,
Yeah.
I never been to a bar that basically had an all-out brawl.
No.
And it's one of those brawls that like everyone stops and watch. Not just oh that little tussle happened in a hall or in a bathroom. Like this was like it spilled from the bar to the main rooms to like the foyer and
Well, so I mean, it starts with like two guys, and then it's like, and then pretty much instantly, like every single person in the bar is just like bar fight, and it starts just like, smashing bottles against each other, like hitting each other, like
yeah,
it's like,
and that's the thing. So it's not like okay, so is the town geared towards the tourists or the locals?
well, it's weird because the Roadhouse also has like it looks like it has like a snorkeling like or like some sort of like scuba business next to it.
I don't. Yeah, it's just like by the one part of the beach because the coral reef. That's why it makes it safe to go snorkel, and it's what has like fish to come look at.
Yeah, so you think they like, oh, there's like tourists coming to like the road, they're snorkeling, and then they're gonna like go like to the Roadhouse after
Have a
like,
beer and
yeah.
lunch.
But then it seems like it's all just like rowdy locals, just like going and like complaining about the music and beating the shit out of each other. Like,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like it sort of like the community they're trying to serve is insane. And I think we said like I think something's in the drinking water in this town.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no way that everyone's just okay with this. Everyone's like violent, and then everyone, like it's like I think this town has lead poisoning or like toxic waste has been leaching into the soil.
yeah. And Frankie is trying to like the music program is like she's trying to make it have like a New York City like a very like a hipster like Brooklyn kind of like we're bringing all these like these like jazz singers and all these like blues, and it's like you should be having just like a fucking like rock cover band or something. Just have like this like an 80s cover band or something. That's what these people want to hear. Like they want to hear like this all this like jazz or whatever's going on.
I mean, if her clientele was an older community that loved this kind of thing, and then your bar was known for that,
Yeah,
it seemed that way. Like then that makes sense. This bar, or like the proper term is like a honky tonk bar. Also, is what a roadhouse is also known for, where you play like country rock music and then you get drunk on Budweisers.
yeah. They should be playing like Jimmy Buffett songs or something.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy Buffett is actually more folky rock
Yeah.
music,
Mhm.
but yeah, like but it's like essentially what she has looks like a Jimmy Buffett's like
Yes.
Margaritaville, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like an off-brand Margaritaville is like the bar, how the bar looks.
Yeah, no one gets into huge fights at Margaritavilles.
Yeah.
I've been to like three, and it's no one ever been like, all right, well, I hate these nachos. Let me throw like my hands up and try to fight the waitress.
Did they did they look like they have food at the Roadhouse or like it was just liquor?
I don't know.
Because maybe if they had like a cheeseburger in paradise, like people would like be like,
Calm down.
yeah,
Well, maybe if like the bar, the restaurant services, and I guess like I don't know, it seemed like everything was miles apart. So it's like if you are drinking, everyone's drunk driving.
Well,
No,
He walks from the bus stop to Double Deuce or the Roadhouse, but it still seems like it's pretty like a good like mile or two like to walk down
he
the
has to
road.
he easily because he has to cross a bridge to get back home to the boat
Yeah.
dock.
Hmm.
And where he is a little more inland because of where the boat is. It's more in a bayou than a open ocean like the roadhouse is.
Yeah, there's alligators that will eat people.
Yeah, alligators don't go by the beach. Like they always go by like swamps and more inland bodies of water. I think the Everglades sort of is that, like, because it's where the fresh water, like the salt water, meets like the
Yeah.
swamp. That's
Hmm.
what makes the Everglades so special. So for the Keys, it's like that too because it's below the Everglades. But yeah, like it's something in that water that is making everyone go crazy, and then like just
Apparently, yeah.
I don't know what the Florida Keys are now. Like, are they still like I don't know corrupt, where they basically are just like a lawless town?
I just know they have key lime pie. It's the only thing I know about the Florida Keys. I mean, you drive that one crazy like long like bridge
Bridge,
expressway to
yeah.
another. Yeah.
And that's like the start of the Keys. I think like there's even more like remote areas of the Keys.
Hmm.
Uh, and then like I know there's like zany communities because it's like yeah, no one lives here. Like I mean, if you live here for this one like hippie reason.
Yeah.
Like I know there's a giant like redneckish group there that do call it home. Like they it thrives on like a certain community. But then it's like, yeah, don't go there and be like, why are people not enjoying my jazz club? Like,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm kind of confused. Where it's like, are they trying to gentrify? But then it's like, no, they've been there for generations and they've been struggling for generations because the community there just loves like destruction. If you give anything beautiful, they'll try to burn it down, and they legit do. Like they try so hard to destroy like anything that isn't the regular norm. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. You built this mega fucking resort that's like this tower. The
Is
locals are just gonna burn that down too. They're just gonna get drunk in there and destroy it.
is it built yet, or is he waiting to like get all the land? He's gonna build it.
I think he's waiting to get the land, and
Yeah.
then it was like a time limit. That
Hmm.
that was like the thing where like he was
And he had to borrow money from like another criminal group or something too. I think
yes,
like he owed like the mafia or something money.
yeah. So that's the thing, like but it's so minor of a plot point where it shouldn't feel that way, but it is. Like when the bad guy has to the bad guy is afraid of another bad guy or like a bad thing,
Hmm.
that's interesting because I feel like in the original Roadhouse, the original villain didn't have that issue. He just sort of was the top of the top in that town.
Yeah.
So it was very basic where you fight him, you defeat him, you solve the town problem. I feel like if I kind of want a sequel in this world because I need to know more about this weird Florida Keys town where like there's such a big ecosystem of corruption.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy that part. Like that's why I'm like, okay, this sort of makes sense. Because the original Roadhouse, obviously the corruption isn't just the one evil guy. And then in this one, it seemed like every other public service was evil. It was like the government there, like the townships were corrupt,
Hmm.
the cops are corrupt,
Hmm.
probably the firemen, like who knows? They burnt the one bookstore down.
Yep.
Uh Dalton gets hit by a truck and no one seems to investigate that.
Oh my god, yeah. Like he gets driven like a truck. He gets driven off a bridge in a truck, and then it's just like he like swims back to shore and just like goes home, and it's like, all right, like, doesn't like JD part like DJ part like foul? He's there before him. Like he
Yeah.
drives, like smashes him Dalton with a truck, and then manages to beat him back to like his like houseboat.
Well, if you think about it, he's Dalton still had to like they still have to walk the same distance.
I
That
guess, yeah.
that but then, Dalton had to swim, probably got off course to get to like even land.
I suppose
Y'all
I suppose seeing like JD Parker just like just sprinting like down the street just to like, get back to like the houseboat before Dalton gets back.
Yeah, but that's another crazy thing. It's not like Dalton was screaming like, "Hey, he didn't kill me" or whatever. Like that happens, and then what's his face had to then bolt with that shotgun to the houseboat.
Yeah,
Like you're right. Like it wasn't just it was very quick. What would have been the next day, logically, was maybe the next like half hour from that incident of the bridge.
yes, hmm,
So confusing, but I get it. They really want to move the plot along. But as soon as like that alligator scene where the bad guy gets like accidentally killed and Dalton sort of doesn't have any remorse over that,
yeah,
that was when the movie's like, all right, this movie's just messing with us now.
yeah. That's what it started. They like took the turn to like ridiculousness because they you get rid of the what you think is going to be the main villain, but then you bring in the true main villain or like the true main henchman, Knox is played like Conor McGregor in his feature film debut, which we haven't really talked about at all yet. But like, he is a fucking maniac.
You said earlier that he feels like he's right out of a Fast and Furious movie,
He
and
if you said he was like Deckard Shaw's like Scottish half brother or something, I like 100% makes sense. Like he would
oh
like
yeah,
perfectly slot in that role. Like his introduction is like he's like banging someone's wife in Italy and then like jumps out of the apartment like naked and just like walks through the middle of Italy and just causes chaos, like explodes like these like shop booths and like steals jackets and like
yeah,
which it
he's
felt
a force of destruction,
yeah
and
it felt like that scene in like I think it was Furious 7 where you see like Deckard Shaw like destroy the entire hospital.
yeah, they saw that, and all right, let's just do that. That every
Yeah.
time we need to enforce, like how crazy he is,
Mhm.
we just need to steal more scenes.
And then he's just like he's constantly stealing cars. Like he just like goes up to people and steals their car, and then also yeah, just like destroying buildings. Like he's like threatening people, and then he has like I think two big fights with Dalton. Like he
I
has
would
like
say three.
there's like like there's like the initial one where like he shows up at the roadhouse and like just like there's like destroying everything, like smashing like pool cues and like smashing tables and like and there's like like forcing his way into like the steel fence that separates the band from like the crowd. Like he's just like ripping that apart with his bare hands to like grab grab the band and then like yeah then he basically like he wins that first fight against Dalton because like Dalton is just like I guess not like his switch hasn't been thrown yet to like turn him into like killer mode.
Right. But that's the thing about his character. Like, this should have been introduced a little earlier, so it's like we have a running thing.
Yeah,
But it just sort of happens, and now it's like fuck everything else. Like, we just want to watch Conor McGregor.
yeah. Oh, I think we probably mentioned too, like, because you're talking about the fights. Like, there are some weird, like Doug Liman throws in some like really weird kind of like gimmicks. Like, it switches like first person for like one of the fights where you're like in Dalton's POV, like getting punched by Conor McGregor in the face.
Yeah, a lot of gimmick camera work, which I didn't mind, but you could tell it just doesn't feel natural.
I could have done with less of that and like make the fights just more, like do like more choreographed, better like better shot, like wider shot fights, like make it more like a John Wick kind of like shooting style, where it's like cleaner and wider and you can see what's going on instead of like all these like crazy gimmicks they're trying to do.
Yep, I would have preferred a cleaner fight. I think the first fight was pretty good, where he takes out those guys and he's slapping them around,
Yeah.
and the camera trick was watching like his hand and then everyone kind of like flipping around it, like
Hmm.
how he throws, and then you see like his speed and he's able just to like hold his own. We don't get that until the end again. End of the movie when it's like a one-on-one fight and Jake Gyllenhaal now unleashes the beast.
Yes. Hmm.
That's the only time we get back to that. And actually not even that. I think that's like right before, because like Jake Gyllenhaal's superpower is like the more injured he gets, the more powerful he gets.
Apparently, yeah.
Because that happens even when he kills that dude in the four times.
Hmm.
I think Gyllenhaal was like Dalton was losing that MMA fight, and then he really dug deep, and then he just got into like a murderous frenzy,
Yeah. If he gets like wounded, he gets into like a murderous rage.
a berserker rage,
Yeah.
literally just like a berserker rage, and that was what he's afraid of.
Hmm.
I just wish if they're gonna do that, give us a reason why he's afraid, or why he's been doing this, or like what makes him do the berserker rage. You're in an MMA fight. There's a lot of people watching. There is some safety regulations. It's not like MMA fights like always a fight to the death. But in legit this part at the end of the movie, it is sort of a fight to the death.
Yeah.
Because Conor McGregor's character is willing to stab you with a pool cube.
Hmm. And it is some sort of like is it just a I forget like if there's like a like some sort of like animal horn like a some sort of like tooth or something that like Jake Gyllenhaal like Dalton grabs and then starts like stabbing Conor McGregor like 10 times with it, Or is it just like like he takes the pool cue like shank and just starts stabbing him with it?
I forgot what he picked up.
It's something sharp. He just like he like stabs Conor McGregor like 10 times.
Because at that point, it's like, oh, I guess Conor McGregor can't handle like a knife fight.
Yeah,
But in realistic things, like, yeah, if someone's got a knife, like they have like a lot and like a if they know what they're doing with the knife, it's a big edge in a fight.
and they do have a little bit of like some UFC like jujitsu kind of stuff too. Like there's like they get him in like an arm lock and arm bar and all that kind of stuff. So they do use like the new like UFC backstory for Dalton a little bit, to, like have him like do like UFC moves.
Yeah, I didn't mind that, and Jake Gyllenhaal looks great in that. Like it looked believable that an MMA fighter would try to use a lot of this in a brawl.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, he's a great. Looked like there's great tumbles in it. Like realistically, you don't always want to end up the fight on the floor just because like it's the floor and the dude is not gonna like because there's some gentleman rules in an MMA fight where you just can't hit someone behind the head, you can't do certain things. But in a street fight, it's just like it's fuck all. Like it's
yeah.
survival. And at that point in the movie, it's really just survival and rage.
And you've already seen like Knox is like a I guess fucking psychopath. Like
Yeah. And I mean, there's parts where there's comedy. Like I like the part where Dalton's head gets bashed on the piano, and then he says, "Yeah, that sounds like not in tune." And then
Yeah.
like there's like some like jokey moments in it that I liked. But going back to the original about the original Roadhouse, how they got that charm where like even if it was corny and a little bit goofy, the guys in the moment was serious.
Mhm.
So when it tried to be serious and kind of intense, they didn't throw any jokes. But here, I feel like right after when Dalton was stabbing Conor McGregor, he could have just said something kind of like, yeah, like
Get the
some
point.
one
Like
yeah, or it's like, oh, I guess I'm the new like I'm or like who knew the keys had spikes or something, or like they should have called this place Florida Spikes.
oh god.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they could have said something and they're like,
The
I don't
bar's
know.
closed.
You've been cooled. Just something where I'm like, all right, it knows it's trying to be silly.
hmm I do think Billy Madison probably could have been like a little bit more like like on the same like Conor McGregor crazy level too. We're like
They tried it in the beginning where they tried to introduce how kind of insane he is. But then
the shaving scene's good because that's like it's such a weird
yeah,
like okay that's like a fun kind of villain. Like he's so arrogant, like he's like get shaved in the middle of the ocean where it's just like you can get like cut anytime.
it reminded me of like a Bond villain, but you
Yeah.
see that like he doesn't know how to do it right.
Mhm.
Where I'm fine with the guy berating his crew. Like that's a classic villain thing, right? Then like the shaving. Then he keeps going. And then after that, it's like he punches out the boat captain. And I'm like, all right, like now this guy who he punched out has to drive the boat back.
Because the captain told him it was smooth seas, but it's like clearly not smooth seas. But then he just like I think he's like Billy Banks is so stupid he doesn't realize like it's not calm seas or just like because captain told him oh it's gonna be smooth seas and it's like oh obviously it's not like but then like you're gonna still get you're gonna like risk your like neck getting cut by like a straight razor because of the
Yeah,
waves.
it's still end of the day, it's up to your judgment. Like it's not like the captain like completely gave him like, yeah, shave, it's completely fine. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to a boat captain that said that. And I'm like, I see the ocean, I feel the ocean. Like like it's not like yeah, I guess that's the arrogance they're show that Billy, what's his name is?
Magnussen, yeah.
He
Ben Brandt.
so yeah, because I feel like we even forgot his name. We're like, whatever, it's him.
A lot of the characters are very forgettable. Not like none of them like the original had so many like memorable characters. Like all the characters like have like some sort of like weird like personality quirk or like they're interesting looking, and a lot of the characters here are just like I totally forget that person. I don't know what the person's name is or like I don't know what their personality is. Like
Well, in the
Almost,
original, the big bad guy, or the rich bad guy, his introduction is him driving recklessly on the
yeah.
road,
And
and that's all you need to know, and you're fine with it.
he's got Jimmy, who's like a crazy awesome enforcer guy, and then uh like the fat guy, and then like you have Jeff Healy and Sam Elliott and Keith David shows up. It's like all these like super memorable characters. And and a lot of them have like really memorable lines too, like a polar bear fell on me and stuff like that. And then this was just like they all kind of just like blend together. They're not really interesting. They're all kind of like more generic characters.
Yep. I think at some point in the movie, all the other bouncer guys on Dalton's team, they could have just been one guy.
Yeah, and then there's like the bartender, like there's like the nerdy bartender girl who's like has like it seems like they're setting up like some sort of personality. She like brings like Dalton like breakfast, but
Which
then
they do
that's
in the original, so that
but
counts.
but that's like her only scene
Oh
basically.
yeah, yeah.
And there's nothing else after that. And Frankie is kind of boring too. Like she just really have like a lot of like she's no like Kevin Teague from the original.
Was that the henchwoman?
Well, Frankie owns the Roadhouse, but it's
Okay.
like I don't know. She's fine, I guess. I don't know, but it's like she has no like no like interesting personality like
No,
traits or anything. It's just like
but you know what I'm thinking? What made also Roadhouse kind of memorable was that like the rich villain just had like a house bunny woman he just abused.
yeah,
You don't get that in this one.
no.
You don't get like that subservient hench person in his crew. So I think that's what made it. That's why it's like okay, so it's not like sexy, it's not memorable. In
Well,
fact, some of the guys are like psychotic.
the only like side character that has like a kind of personality is like Arturo Castro
Yeah,
as like who's like because he gets his arm broken initially in like the first fight, and then but then he has this like funny like every time he's just like, oh hey Dalton, we're cool, right? Like I don't want to fight you anymore, man. Like and he kind of is like commentating like he has like kind of like a little bit of, like a meta commentary about like whenever he shows up like the meeting like Billy Magnussen, he's just like he has some sort of like witty like comment or like some sort of like smart comment about things. And then eventually, like toward the end, he's like, "Well, I'm out of here. I'm bailing. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm out of here."
this is too much movie for me.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, let's talk about just sort of the end message where Dalton kind of shows up and all he does is really just defeat like the bad guy here and leaves. Doesn't
yes.
make the bar any better. He doesn't solve the
The,
corruption. He
the,
doesn't get the girl.
so yeah, the roadhouse is destroyed. But I guess they're gonna rebuild it because they always rebuild it. Um, yeah, he's killed like a prominent businessman.
Well, he didn't personally kill.
Yeah, but
I mean, the guy's still
that
dead.
he's dead. Which who knows if that's the economy of Glass Key.
That's true.
Yeah, he the family like he leaves money for like the bookstore family, so I guess they can rebuild their books, but like that all their books are destroyed. Like they have to like that's I mean they have like however much money they have, but it's not gonna like really buy their books back or like their business back. Yeah, and then yeah he just leaves like Danielle Melchior. She's like, well, we tried, it didn't work out. I'm out of here. Like. And I guess like Joaquin de Almeida is like I guess he's like now he's like he's not gonna be corrupt anymore because like he's like I'll cover for you, like you're good, like get out of here.
Maybe. I mean, uh, we couldn't tell, like, cause he was trying to like get on top. He was trying to triple cross everybody.
Yes, that scene was insane. Where it's just uh like he makes it seem like Dalton he's on Dalton's side, and then they go to the boat and like he double crosses Dalton, but then like Billy Madison triple crosses him. It's like he's like they kidnapped my daughter. It's like oh no she's right here. But I actually did kidnap your daughter. I'm holding her until you like give me my money back. Like
Yeah, that was funny. I did like I saw that coming because it's like it was going too smoothly.
yeah.
But yeah, that I don't think the corruption is gonna be like over because I feel like the prison dad is gonna get his revenge. Logically,
Hopefully,
that's what dictates.
hopefully that's in like the sequel they set up. Like, hopefully we'll see who like the prison dad is, and maybe he wants revenge on Dalton. Then, and obviously there's like a mid credit scene where Conor McGregor survives, and he's like like destroys the hospital, get out of the hospital.
I didn't mind that. He's such a cartoony part that I actually started liking that.
Hmm.
Because it won me over. So I hope there is a sequel, so I see more of this part of me. What about you?
They track down Dalton to like a different city or something, and then it's like, oh, it starts over again.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I don't know. This movie is doing well enough for that. I know critically, it's like each week it goes down in the rank.
I don't know. I think you have to. There's like a delay for like the Nielsen ratings for like because they like Nielsen tracks like streaming stuff, but I think it's um there's like kind of like a month delay, so we might not know for like maybe like a month or two how it did like on Amazon as far as like most watched uh Amazon stuff. I think it is like it was like one of their like most watched Prime things if you look at like their top 10. But compared to like other thing, like other stuff on other platforms, like I don't know how it's like compares.
Hmm.
Oh, it is still the number one thing. Like I'm on Amazon right now. It still is the number one thing on Amazon as far as like people watching stuff. It's Roadhouse, Invincible, Ricky Stenicki, Reacher, and uh, Judge Judy's new show. Those are the top 5 things on Amazon right now.
Well, I can't. If I had a choice between this and Reacher, I would rather watch Reacher. It's got the
Yeah.
same kind of
Mhm.
premise, and the action is like easy to find.
And
This one,
the tone, Reacher's tone is like way more consistent too. Like
yes,
it nails its tone of like the perfect blend of like these like really like these uh like like one liners and witty comebacks and then but then like the serious action
yep. You still got. Have you finished season 1 and 2 yet?
of Reacher. Yes, I've seen both. Yeah.
Okay. So I was getting that vibe where I feel like they were making this and then went, oh shit, we should have just been Reacher.
Oh, like the like how Netflix like makes like stuff based on the algorithm of like, oh, people watch like this type of thing with this type of thing. Let's combine them and then make a new thing. Like you think Amazon was like, uh, people are watching like a Roadhouse, but they also watch Reacher. Make Roadhouse like Reacher. Like
Yeah, yeah, I feel that they could have done that
they're
because
trying to play the algorithm. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. If they did a second one, hopefully that'll be the main thing. Is like hopefully like figure out the tone better and like have a more consistent tone.
Yeah, again, I didn't mind Jake Gyllenhaal. It just was
No,
like a whole.
Jake Gyllenhaal is great. Like he's carrying this movie on his back.
He
Like
does.
yeah.
He plays that. He can play that nice, calm guy. He can play the insane, like berserker fighter.
Mhm.
I just think when the character development goes in a weird direction where he's building a bomb, he's setting up
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dead body scheme.
Hmm.
He he sort of doesn't have an exit plan. He just leaves like a
Yeah.
bus. We still can't figure out if he has a cell phone and nothing. So
He has to borrow a computer because he doesn't have like I feel like that's like the one computer in the entire like town is like in that bookstore.
was the bookstore the library too?
Maybe.
It really makes it seem like this country is a third world country, and you're like, no, this is America.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah. Any last thoughts?
Um. I mean, it was fine. It was it was a fun kind of like it seems like if you're on Prime Video on it's like a lazy like weekend day and you're like trying to find something to watch. It's fine.
I agree.
It definitely does not live up to the original. I mean, the original is
No,
still like a stone cold classic that will never be topped probably. But
it doesn't have
um,
the charm as being something you could
yes,
like. I can quote things from the original Roadhouse. There's just like fun, dumb scenes you just love to like rewatch. here, maybe like 2 scenes I want to rewatch. Maybe Conor McGregor scenes. Maybe one or two just to laugh at
Mhm.
like how weird it is.
Like
Um,
a couple of the fights, maybe.
couple of the
Yeah.
fights. His like weird like things about him that he lives in a GTA world,
hmm
just like crashing cars and then just like walking around cocky like.
hmm
That's the kind of how he is in real life. Like that's just Conor McGregor.
Yeah. hmm
Uh,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't have like shill for like his whatever his like scotches that he has or his whiskey.
I'm surprised too. I'm surprised he wasn't just
Like
drinking that
he
on the
he,
movie.
he didn't just like pull it out from behind the bar and like smash him over the head with it or something.
Yeah, just some advertisement.
Or he's on like Billy Magnussen's boat or something, and like he's like, "Oh, you got the good stuff," and then like holds up to the camera. Like,
I would have been okay with that.
mhm,
Uh, yeah, I think for me, like it's a fun movie to watch with like people. I don't think I
mhm.
would have watched this like alone, especially the first time, just because it's like I need to like I don't know. Roadhouse is such like a guy movie,
Yeah,
and then this movie tries to be like a guy movie, but it just ends up confusing us more about like the motives. Where the original one was just like a pure like new 80s western, like a western noir. And this is sort of trying to do that. Like it feels like it looks like it wants to be Drive almost.
yeah, or something. Yeah,
But the problem is Drive exists already. So,
at least like the opening, and then it turns into like once you get to Florida, it's like sunny, colorful Florida.
hmm yeah, then it changes tone. Like a whole color
Yeah.
grade happens. It's like it
hmm
goes from that like green teal look to orange and like bright and yellow and blue.
and like Jake Gyllenhaal is like just like exclusively wearing like Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that. And then he sort of just does that thing where if you take all the shots of him walking and looking stoic, you basically could make a new version of like Drive, or not Drive,
Mhm.
Night Drive. Play that song and
Nightcrawler,
then
yeah.
Nightcrawler. Um, except now that dude is like healthier and working out, seeing the sun.
hmm
But yeah, I think that's it for me.
yeah. It's fine. You're not gonna you're not gonna feel like you waste your time watching it, but
You're
uh,
not gonna want more like
y-
immediately.
yeah, it's a little too generic. It doesn't have, it doesn't it needs a little more personality. But yeah, it's on Prime Video. If you listen still want to watch it, or you haven't seen it yet, like go watch it, I guess. Or if you like, or just go, watch the original with our commentary. That might be the better choice. Which you can find at everything.com. And I have a review of Roadhouse, like the new one. If you want to read a review of it, that's up on the site. All of our usual stuff's up there as well. Head over and check all that stuff out. And yeah, so for Chris, I'm Zach, and we will see you next week. For more Everything Action, head to www.everythingaction.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at EVAction, on Facebook by searching for Everything Action, and follow us on Instagram at everything.action. You can also subscribe and get more episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.